All right, it now gives me great pleasure to introduce Emma and her presentation. Thank you, Emma.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present here today. My name is Dr. Emma Bruce. I am the Executive Director of Malaria Partners West Africa. And before I became an Executive Director of Malaria Partners West Africa, I was, and I'm still, the chairperson of the Rotary District 9101 Subcommittee on Malaria. So here are the 10 West African countries that are part of the Rotary District 9101 malaria committees. Before I started Malaria Partners West Africa, I set up malaria committees in each of these West African countries, except for Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau, who have little Rotarians, so they would only have malaria representatives. The goal was to manage all these countries. I needed focal person and a group of people, Rotarians in each of these countries, to carry out Rotary malaria projects. And this is long before we even had grants from MPI and from RAM Global. So setting up the Rotary malaria committees in these 10 West African countries was really the backbone of our grant projects. So the goals we had, first of all, was to get Rotarians interested in joining the fight against malaria. In Africa, especially West Africa, polio is the big thing. We put in so much effort with polio, even though malaria is the most devastating disease there. So it's to encourage Rotarians to join the fight against malaria. And the most important thing is we Rotarians, we don't want to do our own thing in malaria prevention. We want to work with the government. Our goal is to complement government efforts. So our first task is to visit the Minister of Health, visit the National Malaria Control Program, and even district health offices, and introduce ourselves as Rotarians and ask them what are the gap areas, what can we Rotarians do? So we don't want to duplicate what they're already doing, what the government is already doing. So we ask them where we have a small grant, what can we do with it? So we've come up with 3 main aspects. One is the sensitization, which is the educational awareness campaign. Others are equipping local health centers with microscopes or RDTs to test malaria, and so many other different projects that have come up as well. So basically our funding comes from 2 places. Malaria Partners International, which provides us with grants, small grants between $5,000 to $10,000. And then Rotarians Against Malaria Global, which also have provided grants from $1,000 to $3,000 US. So here, following would be some examples of what we can achieve with small grant. So one of our biggest challenges before we started was visiting the National Malaria Control Program, Minister of Health. When they hear Rotary coming, they're excited. They think we're bringing $10 billion because, you know, what the polio grant have invested. So I always tell them, no, we're just coming with $5,000, $10,000, and sometimes they close the door on us. But then I have to go back and like, look, we're really putting in the effort. We have our sponsors, although it's small, but we can make a big impact. So that's the whole point of this presentation, is see how even though it's $5,000, $10,000, we can still do something great, because especially in the educational awareness campaign area. So starting out with Burkina Faso, is one of the countries in our District 9101. They had a $5,000 grant from MPI, and they were able to buy 2 microscopes, a hemoglobin meter, all the microscope slides and everything that's needed, and a couple of other equipments. So here they were presented to a rural health facility, which they had a newly built laboratory, but it wasn't furnished and there were no equipment. So this was a great grant, even though it was small. But then now, instead of all the inhabitants of that small rural community going all the way to the capital city to do malaria tests, they can easily do it here. So that's a big impact for a small community with high malaria. And they also were able to do malaria educational awareness campaign. This is huge because we have pregnant women who wouldn't want to take the Fansida, which is the malaria prevention drug. So doing educational awareness campaign for the pregnant women and mothers of children under 5 years old is very important. And the current grant that they have is a $10,000 grant from MPI, which is screening 1,500 students from a rural town of Côte. So they just started it a couple of weeks ago, which is going on really well. And this is another way that we can impact the community from just a small grant. So testing the students, we can detect hidden malaria parasites in these kids who can go for years and you don't even know they have malaria. They can have some symptoms, but the parents don't even understand what the symptoms are. This is the start of actually this malaria testing and treatment for 1,500 students. So as you can see, they started it a couple of weeks ago and it's still ongoing, and then they'll resume after the rainy season. In Côte d'Ivoire, a small grant project there was also $5,000 a couple of years ago, where they were able to buy RDT tests for a local health center. As you can see, they're using it to test children for malaria, and then if it's positive, they give them malaria drugs. And also, they were able to buy cleaning tools and materials. As you can see the logos behind there. I'm sure our sponsors will be happy with that. So this was a joint effort from MPI and RAM Global. So they were able to buy cleaning tools, as you can see. And here they were used to clean up all the drainage system, the whole community. It was a massive cleaning exercise. So here as well, you can see how the small grant can impact the whole community and really make a difference there. And then also, part of the small grant, we also had another community who, they had really high malaria cases there. So we encouraged the local health center there to do a malaria screening exercise, and we helped also refurbish the health center so that to encourage the people to go there and do malaria testing rather than self-medicate, because we see that that's a really big problem. Also part of the grant, we were able to do, during World Malaria Day, have a booth in the World Malaria Day celebration that was hosted by the National Malaria Control Program. So as you can see, we printed T-shirts and flyers and all the posters and banners, so that was really great as well. This was refurbishment of the local health centers. You can see the walls are really dirty there, so we were able to refurbish it, and the whole community was excited, and now we've seen record numbers of people come to the community. So this is also how we can impact the community with just small grants. So in Guinea-Conakry, they started, they've not had a grant yet, but they had started with some malaria educational awareness campaign, which they brought the TV in, and during World Malaria Day, they were able to do this. This was a couple of years ago. Currently, we have an upcoming project, which is a $15,000 grant to test 4,500 students. And this fundraising effort is being spearheaded by Dr. Derek Pasternak, which is a board ambassador for MPI. So he just told me that he has only $1,000 left to complete the 15,000. So hopefully by the end of this month, we'll be able to start this very beautiful grant in Guinea-Conakry. Then in Liberia, they participate in the World Malaria Day. There's members of the Rotary Malaria Committee there. So like I said, we always partner with the National Malaria Control Program, Minister of Health, so we participate in all the World Malaria Day activities. And part of the grant, the first grant they had was a $4,000 grant. So they came up with the idea of having these stickers where they can stick in cars and hospitals and hairdressing salons, schools, anywhere with these messages. So that was really great. You can see them here going all over, the communities, pasting them everywhere. So as you can see, they're short messages, but like they made an impact. So that was also, all over the town. So that's another big impact that was done. And here they went to the local hospitals, distributed bed nets that they bought as well. And they put up billboards in the sides of the road. I remember when I visited them, the billboards were still up, so that was really great. So this is also, with $4,000, they were able to impact community, especially concentrating in educational awareness campaign. And also they were able to distribute bed nets to pregnant women, as you can see them there, members of the Rotary Malaria Committee. And that's the pregnant women and mothers holding their bed nets up. So that was, with just $4,000, we were able to do that. And in all of these grants as well, when we do the presentation, we always have representatives of the National Malaria Control Program and district health officers. So we're always doing projects with them in unison. We don't want to do anything away from the government. So this is Mali, the Rotary Malaria Committee as well. They're participating in the World Malaria Day, as you can see them there. And they also had a $4,000 grant. This is a couple of years ago, the time that MPI was still doing only like $5,000 grant. And also they were able to impact the community in a big way. And they bought bed nets, they bought rapid diagnostic kit tests, which they were able to use in the local health centers it will go for months and not have supply from the government. And also they have a place for displaced people, as you can see. So they thought that it was really necessary to buy these bed nets and take it there. As you can see, this is one of them living in there. That's a mother with a new baby. And as you can see, the bed nets going really far and making a difference there. They also had educational awareness campaign where they were able to talk to about 400 women where they taught them about malaria, especially these are going to be future mothers and pregnant women, so to tell them the importance of malaria prevention. So that was really good as well. So this is members of the Malaria Committee and what they were able to achieve. And also this was a joint project and joint sponsorship from MPI and RAM Global as well. Sierra Leone as well, with a $4,000 grant. And this is participating in World Malaria Day as well, members of the Rotary Malaria Committee, printing flyers and T-shirts and everything. So that's really good because we put now all the governments in all the National Malaria Control Program in 10 West African countries recognizes Rotary as a partner in the fight against malaria. So that's a big achievement there. They also did an educational awareness campaign where they brought several communities together and taught them about malaria, malaria prevention. They also did a malaria prevention educational awareness campaign for students, where they did it in a fun way, in like a quiz way, and like forced schools competing each other with malaria questions. So that really was a good way of getting the students to remember questions about malaria, what malaria is. And this is still about that. As you can see, the students there participating in that. And then in Gambia, so in Gambia, I'm from the Gambia, of course, running malaria program for 10 West African countries. So we did a lot in Gambia before I even started with the other countries. So one of the biggest projects we did was we went into the rural area with microphone. We had traditional community singers who would sing songs about malaria prevention in the local languages. So this was a busy market day. So we took the banners, went through the market talking about malaria prevention. So that was a good start there. We also brought the community together, all the community leaders, and then we had a traditional drama group that did a small theatrical performance on malaria, the myths about malaria that the rural people have, and we try to educate them about malaria. So this, as you can see, the man had 3 wives, and the wife came and said, "Oh, the baby has malaria," and the man thought that the wife only wants money out of him. So this was just a myth that we were just trying to bust there. And then we also did a campaign where we went to about 10 health centers and hospitals, where we went to during the antenatal clinic days and vaccination, and showed the pregnant women how to tie up the bed nets. We told them about malaria prevention programs, and also tell them about all the Fancida, what they need to do, how they need to take it. Some of them don't like to take the Fancida, which is the malaria prevention, which is the malaria drug, anti-malaria drug that they do take. And this was really successful as well, because not only us as Rotarian go there and talk about malaria, but then also we have the midwives and pediatric nurses also join us with representative of the National Malaria Control Program. So together we are able to bring this educational awareness campaign to the mothers and pregnant women. As you can see here, these are the mothers with children under 5 years old. We're doing the same thing here. We also did a lot of educational awareness program where this was in support of the National Bed Distribution Campaign, where these are health communicators, which we were able to hire them to do a whole month of malaria educational awareness campaign in radio station. And we did some TV interviews, TV educational awareness campaign as well. And then lastly, we had a sponsorship for outdoor fogging machine, which the National Malaria Control Program requested. So we had two, which MPI spearheaded, and we were able to get it. And the bottom two pictures is the First Lady of the Gambia, who was invited to launch this project. And she was excited. She's always been a real support to us, the Rotary Malaria Committee there. And the last picture, as you can see, the fogging machine being put into use, and it was used to spray the whole of the capital city, and in about a week's time. So that's a summary of what we were able to do with small grants. And yeah, thank you.